Now, after the 1997, the historical 6th Lok Sabha elections, the party which came to power was, as we all know, the Janata Party, the coalition party under the leadership of Janata Party. The Janata Party came to power with the principle of restoration of democracy. Now, restoration of democracy was a basic principle which guided the people to come towards or motivated towards the Janata Party. What was their hometown of the Congress Party? Because the Congress was the only party which was dominant in all the elections. But for the first time, the people have left their base and moved on, pitched on to the other party, that is the Janata Party. The only principle which guided them was restoration of democracy. We shall restore democracy in our country. We shall get back your fundamental rights at any point of time. We shall take care of you and the democratic principles. But in reality, in 9 states, Congress could retain her power. Immediately as soon as the Janata government came to power, the Janata government used the Article 356. What is this Article 356? What is mentioned in this Article 356? Article 356 is officially known as President's Rule. So, using the authority of Article 356, the central government can ask for a report to the concerned governor asking whether the machinery of the state is functioning according to the true principles of democracy or not. On basing on the report of the given by the governor, on the recommendations of the Prime Minister, the President can cancel the government and impose presidential rule here, which means that on the report based by the governor, if the governor is not satisfied with the constitutional setup at the state level, and if he feels that the government is not running on the basis of the constitutional limits or on the constitutional rules and regulations, he can recommend the President's rule and advise the Prime Minister basing on a written report sent to him. So, using the Article 356, the Janata Party government dismissed the 9 states where the Congress government was in power. The Congress party was in power and suspended the governments and imposed presidential rule and brought their own parties into power, even though in these 9 states Congress had a majority of seats in the respective assemblies. This was a clear objection according to the Indian constitutional limits. But because of the internal disturbances or because of the enmity towards the Indira Gandhi's regime, they gave a clear statement that Congress has lost their moral values to rule further. This is a statement given by them, and they cancelled all the 9 states governments where Congress was in power. Immediately, as soon as this went on moving on, by 1978 and 1979, there were many internal disturbances between the local parties or the coalition parties, and they broke down, and immediately we got elections in 1980. In 1980, we got the 7th Lok Sabha elections. Once again, the 7th Lok Sabha elections are historical elections because except in West Bengal and Tamil Nadu, remaining all the states of India, Congress gained back all the states and became the most victorious party with more than 350 seats and giving for Indira Gandhi the thumping majority at any point of time ever since the India's inception of the democratic setup. Now, again Indira Gandhi became the unchallenged leader of the nation. Now, as soon as she took over the national leadership, the prime ministerialship of the candidates, and she immediately paid back the coin of the Janata Party, where the 9 states were replaced by the non-Congress governments, were immediately suspended using the same article of Article 356 and imposed the presidential rule, and later she established the Congress governments there. But finally, the 7th Lok Sabha elections were historical elections which brought back Indira Gandhi with a huge majority. Except in West Bengal we got the Communist Party, and in Tamil Nadu we got the DMK party. remaining all the states of 1980 period, we got only and only Congress got victorious with a huge majority. Now, coming into the reality, even though after emergency India has been established as a democratic nation or a truly democratic spirit or the multi-party system exists in India, but coming into fact of reality that during the period of Janata government or during the period of Congress, when they were suspending the 9 states irrespective of their majority in the seats of assemblies, now they are a binding or they are moving out of the federal spirit of the constitution. The federal spirit is that the division of the powers between the central and the state governments. The center has to accept some autonomy for the states, but in reality here both the governments acted violently and showed their personal whims rather than the constitutional limits. And in this point of time, many of them expressed the view that the strong center has started to dictate the states. So the DMK, the SAD parties all formed a new front or a small group to showcase that we need a greater autonomy at the state levels rather than only from the central levels, and if necessary we would fight for that. In this way, the new initiative was developed that states demanding the greater autonomy and center becoming dominant over the state regions. Even though the states are having majority of seats, that party was not allowed to maintain their power using the Article 356 of the presidential rule. This was against the true democratic setup or true federal setup what Mr. Ambedkar has kept forth for us to be ruled. But in reality, what happened next? What are the regional parties that came to power? What were the binding forces that brought the regional parties into power, leaving the Congress aside? We'll discuss now.